Welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we are back with another tier list, and in today's tier list, we have got a big one, a long one, and it is overrated or underrated part 2. I did this with quarterbacks a few weeks ago, and that video went well, so we're doing it again, but today we're doing it with wide receivers. So, my god, whoever created this tier list, good job to you. You did super good, but there was so many tiers I had to cut it down a little bit. But I'm keeping most of the stuff. So at the top we have the elite wide receivers. Below that is the borderline elite wide receivers. Then we have the high-end 2 wide receivers, the high-end slot wide receivers, quality 2 wide receivers, quality slot wide receivers, solid 4th option, and undecided or unproven. An absolute ton of wide receivers to go through. My goodness. This is going to be ridiculous. Alright. Well, let's get into this video. But just so you guys know, thank you guys so much for all the love and subscribers. We are at 82 subscribers, 18 away from 100 by the end of the year. If we can hit that, that would be amazing. Thank you guys for all the love on the videos and shorts. Continuing to try to post daily, and we've kept it up this whole week, and I'm going to try to keep doing it. Just so you guys know, my daily upload schedule probably is going to be this. I will probably post, I'm hoping to post every single day on the week, and then maybe once a weekend, like a short maybe, but I don't know. I'm going to do less on the weekend so I can actually enjoy myself. Not that I don't enjoy this, I'm just saying like to have a little bit of a break because it is a lot, but I do like posting you guys videos, so I'm going to keep it up. Let's get into this video, and just so you guys know, there's so many wide receivers, I'm not going to be talking about them forever. I'll give you a little bit of insight on them and see what I said. First up, we have Adam Thielen. He's solid. He's a good wide receiver, still a good number 2. I think he's a quality number 2. Actually, I think he's high-end number 2. Because for a number 2, he's quite a good number 2. A.J. Brown, he's a borderline elite. He's close to elite. Actually, he's borderline elite. He's not quite elite. He might be elite later on the tier list when I figure this out. In my opinion, he's borderline elite. Definitely the number 1 option there. And definitely a really, really good number 1 option. By the way, also, I'm not going to be ordering these guys. Just too much work for me. I'm trying to get through this all pretty fast. Alec Pierce. He's a quality number 2. I think he is number 2. Or maybe it's Paris Campbell. I don't really know. Actually, quality slot. 'Cause I don't know if he's in... I think it's Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, then him. But he's been quality, honestly. He's been surprising for a rookie this year. Has been a good option for the Colts offense. Next up, we have Allen Robinson. He's still a quality number 2. He's not high-end number 2. He's a quality number 2. He hasn't been the best this year, but we know he's still got the potential. We know how good he can be. He just got to show it to us. Next up, we have Amari Cooper. So the thing is, where would you put these guys? Because, like, with this tier list, borderline elite is, like, this quality number 1. So I guess he should... Like, if I'm considering on a regular team, he's probably a high-end 2. He's probably a high-end 2. Because I'm going to consider what I think they would be on, like, a different team or any other team. And I think he's a high-end number 2. He's a very solid, really good, but not quite a number 1. Next up, we have Amari Rogers. He's a solid 4th option. Actually, he's undecided, unproven. We haven't seen enough from him yet. So I'm going to put him in undecided, unproven. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a borderline elite wide receiver. Not quite, again, elite. Elite's a pretty prestigious group, but he is quite a great wide receiver. Definitely a top 10 wide receiver in the game. For surely borderline elite. Brandon Cooks, man, he's a high-end number 2. Another guy who you can kind of trust in those situations. And it's always a good option. Next up, we have Brandon Ayuk. He's a high-end slot, man. This year, yeah, he's been a high-end slot. This tier list is weird. This tier list is so weird, because I'm putting, like, Ayuk ahead of Allen Robinson. I don't know what to do here. I'm going to roll with it. I'm just thinking, because technically, Ayuk is a slot wide receiver. I just don't know. I'm thinking of them on different teams. Like, Allen Robinson is a quality number 2. High-end slot. Realistically, these two should switch. I'm going to do that. Because realistically, the quality number 2 is going to be better than the high-end slot. It's just simple as that. So I'm going to switch those two around. Next up, we have Bryan Edwards. He's a solid 4th option. Hasn't been used too much this year. Still works. Can give you some big catches and some big moments, but not much else. Next up, we have Traylon Burks. He's a high-end slot guy. This year, he's been great. I actually... see, Alec Pierce should be... I don't know, he shouldn't be. Yeah, I think Traylon Burks, he's been the number 2 wide receiver for the Titans behind Robert Woods, in my opinion. But he's still definitely a high-end slot kind of guy. I can trust him, and he's solid. CeeDee Lamb, he's elite. He's elite. I think he should be the first elite. You know what? A.J. Brown's got to be elite then, too, right? I'm going to put those two in elite. And then Amon-Ra's close, but I got to put someone in borderline elite. So, yeah, we're going to do that. Again, with CD, just such a great wide receiver, such a great route runner. Can get open, and he's definitely an elite wide receiver. Next up, we have Chase Claypool. He's a high-end slot, in my opinion, because he's not a quality slot, because he's definitely better than a quality slot. He's not a number 2, though. He's definitely more of a number 3. Next, we have Christian Kirk. He's a high-end number 2 I was playing this year. He's been playing really good this year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Got to give him some credit. High-end 2. Cooper Kupp's an elite wide receiver. You already know what we're talking about. We got Cooper Kupp. He's got to go into high-end. He's got to go into elite. One of the best route runners in the game and one of the best wide receivers in the game. Corey Davis, he is a quality slot. He's not quite a solid 4th option because he isn't a 4th option. He's a quality slot kind of guy. Definitely not used as much as he used to be, but he's still a weapon in scenarios. Courtland Sutton's a quality 2. It's number 1 right now in Denver, but really shouldn't be realistically. It should be like, sorry. Should be realistically like a different wide receiver, but that's fine, in my opinion. Courtland Sutton's quality, though. Next up, we have Jamison Crowder. Is he even playing anymore? A solid 4th option. Because I have no clue if he's even playing right now. Definitely Corey Davis is better than him. Next up, we have Curtis Samuel. He's a quality number 2. I have no shame in admitting he's a quality number 2. Guy that can always get you some points. Always can be consistent. Got to be considered a quality number 2. Next up, we have Devontae Adams. He's elite. He's elite. Don't really need to say much more. He's elite. Everyone knows that he's one of the best in the game. And right now he's playing like it. Got to give him elite. Next up, we have Deebo Samuel. Samuel is borderline elite. I'm a Niners fan. I can put him in elite if I want to, being biased. I can't put him in elite how he's played this year. I still think he's a borderline elite wide receiver, though. Definitely not a high-end 2. He's definitely borderline elite. Just a guy that can be involved in so many different ways. Next up, we have Devin Duvernay. He's a high-end slot, realistically, but this year he's been playing like quality number 2. Put him in high-end slot right now. Kind of similar to like a Brandon Ayuk, just a guy that can give you some big plays and big moments, and has been a really big piece for the Ravens offense this year. Next up, I just realized what I did. Guys. I was going to do overrated or underrated wide receivers. We're just ranking wide receivers. You know what? We're just going to rank wide receivers. I'm so sorry, guys. I totally messed up at the start of the video. Oh my god. I was gonna do overrated or underrated, and I just totally looked at the tier list and I just didn't think about it realistic. I don't know what I was doing there. I saw all these colors, man. Next up, we have Devontae Smith. He's a high-end number 2. Definitely a guy that's a high-end number 2. A really good guy in the receiving game. He can catch. He does everything well. Definitely. If A.J. Brown wasn't there, quite a great wide receiver. Next up, we have DeAndre Hopkins. Right now, borderline elite. He's playing like he's elite right now, but we haven't seen him enough from that suspension to really put him in elite yet. Stephon Diggs is elite. Simple as that. He's, I would say, a top 3 wide receiver in the game. Maybe top 2, maybe top 1. Gotta give him elite. Next up, we have Deontay Johnson. He's a quality number 2. This year, he's been playing like quality number 2. Not his fault. It's more Kenny Pickett's fault. And Pittsburgh's offense not getting him involved. But he's still a quality number 2. Probably should be more of a high-end number 2, but he's quality number 2. Next up, we have DJ Chark. He is a high-end slot guy. Has been involved this year with the Detroit Lions a lot more than with the Jaguars, but is still not, still not like the best wide receiver on that Lions team. Next up, we have DJ Moore. He's high at number 2, man. Probably should be borderline elite. Can be borderline elite. We know he can be borderline elite, but haven't seen it too much this year, and it's not his fault. Again, it's the quarterback's fault. Next up, we have DK Metcalf. He's also high end too. Can't say he's borderline elite because look at his year this year. He's been decent though still. High end too. Next up we have Drake London. He's been playing like a quality number 2. Can't put him in high end number 2 because he isn't really a high end number 2, but he's been playing good. He's been playing like a quality number 2. He's been being that number 1 option for Atlanta that they need. Next up we have Elijah Moore. Quality slot. Can't talk to him about him too much because it's not his fault again, but he's not been really involved in the offense. Got a touchdown last week, though. Good for him. Gotta go in quality slot, though. Next up, we have Dwayne Eskridge. He's undecided unproven. Haven't seen enough of him. Simple as that. Next up, we have Russell Gage. This year's been playing, he has been a solid 4th option. If we're being realistic, though, he's definitely a high-end slot. On any other team that doesn't have a ton of offensive weapons, like the Bucks, he's definitely really, really good. Next up, we have Michael Gallup. This is tough. I'm going to put him in high-end slot as well. Another guy that, we know that he can be good. We know it. Haven't seen it yet. Got to go in high-end slot. Next up, we have Garrett Wilson. He's been playing like a high-end number 2, man. He's been, honestly, probably the best wide receiver coming out of the draft with how we've seen from him. And with the Jets offense, with an offense that isn't that good, he's producing a lot. Next up, we have Chris Godwin. I think he's still borderline elite. I have no shame in it. I think he's still borderline elite. A great week last week. For a number 2, or I don't even know if he's the number 1 or the number 2, if it's Mike Evans or not. But, yeah, I think he's definitely still a borderline elite wide receiver. Next up, we have A.J. Green. Ooh. A.J. Probably a solid 4th option right now. Just hasn't done anything. I have nothing to say about him, really. Just needs to retire eventually. Next up, we have Mecole Hardman. He is a quality slot wide receiver. Has not been playing like a high-end slot wide receiver, like any of the guys above him, but he's been playing like a quality slot receiver. Marquise Brown. He's a quality number 2, man. Quality number 2. He's been a little bit injured this year, but still a quality number 2 behind D-Hop. Next up, we have Jahan Dotson. He's a high-end slot guy. Another guy came from the draft. Has shown a ton of potential like Treylon Burks, and he's been good for Washington. Next up, we have Jacoby Myers. Quality number 2, man. Where is it? What of him? He's been playing like quality number 2. Been probably the best option for Mac Jones. Has always kind of been the best option for Mac Jones in his career, and he's been playing good. Next up, we have Jamar Chase. High-end wide, borderline elite for now, because of this year. Last year, I put him in elite, obviously. This year, though, so far, again, not his fault. Injuries have been a factor. Gotta put him in a borderline elite right now. Next up, we have Jameson Williams. Again, right now, got him in quality slot because he's been injured. I could definitely see him going up into this range, though, later on. Next up, we have Jarvis Landry. Another guy who's a quality slot wide receiver, man. Definitely not New Orleans 1 or 2 options, but he's going to get in there. He's going to be a quality slot wide receiver that you need. Next up, we have Jerry Jeudy. He's a high-end slot. I know this year's been a bit of a struggle for him, but he's on a team that just can't produce points and has a terrible quarterback, so I got him in a high-end slot. Justin Jefferson's obviously elite, don't have to say much. He's probably right now the best wide receiver in the game. And then, if I had to rank the wide receivers in the game, it's him, then Diggs, and then probably Devontae Adams. That's probably my order right now. Next up, we have Juju Smith-Schuster. He's been a quality number 2, man. Can't say he's a high-end number 2 because he struggled at the start of the year, but he's starting to pick it up now. And he's actually really done well with the Chiefs organization. Next up, we have Julio Jones. Quality slot, man. Definitely not as good as he was in Atlanta or even in Tennessee, but for the Bucks, he's worked fine. I wouldn't say he's been amazing, but he's worked fine. Next up, we have Keenan Allen. Still got to go in high in number 2. Doesn't really matter about how he's playing this year. Still got to give him some credit. Just like a guy like an Amari Cooper or an Adam Thielen. Got to give him some credit. Got to go in high in number 2. Next up, we have Kenny Golladay. He's a quality slot option. I don't really know much about him. I think he's been injured this year. Definitely when he was in Detroit, he's up here, but right now, gotta go quality slot. Next up, we have KJ Osborne. He's a quality slot wide receiver, man. Kind of an underrated wide receiver, because he gets overshadowed by like Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, but he's definitely quality. Next up, we have KJ Hamler. Solid 4th option, man. Not much to say about him. He's on a bad team. Unfortunate again. Next up, we have Laviska Shenault. Ooh. I guess he's a solid fourth option right now. Haven't really heard his name much. Just haven't really heard his name too much, unfortunately. Next up, we have Alan Lazard. Gotta go in quality this year. He's gotta go in quality this year. He's been quality. He's been quality for them. Gotta give him some credit for that. For number one as well, so you gotta give him some credit for that as well. Tyler Lockett's still a high-end number two as well, just like DK Metcalf. Guy that you can always rely on, and Geno Smith has been relying on him. Next up, we have Terrence Marshall. He's always a quality slot kind of guy. He'll give you 3 recs for 30 yards a game. Quality. He's fine. Next up, we have Marvin Jones. Quality? I guess? Man, I don't really know. I guess quality slot? Next up, we have Terry McLaurin. Borderline elite, man. Not elite, but he's borderline elite, man. Still really, really good. Gotta give him credit. He's still borderline elite, for sure. Next up is that John Metchie III. I've never even heard of this guy. Undecided, unproven. I think also Mike Evans gotta go into borderline elite. Same with Chris Godwin. Those two just like feed off of each other and are both Tom Brady's number one weapons. Next up, we have Mike Williams. This year, quality number 2. Not actually high-end slot this year, honestly. And honestly, I don't know why I'm putting Keenan in high-end too. He should be in quality. Honestly, Joshua Palmer's been the best wide receiver for them this year. Next up, we have Darnell Mooney. Honestly, kind of a high-end number 2 right now. Has been playing really, really good this year. Give him some credit, man. Credit him, for sure. Next up, we have Marcus Valdes-Scantling. Quality slot, man. Can't say much about him. He's quality slot, man. Next up, we have Nelson Aguilar. Ooh. Solid fourth option. Next up, we have Odell Beckham Next up, we have Odell Beckham Jr. Hasn't played this year yet. I'm going to put him in quality number 2, though. I think he's still a quality number 2. What are you going to say about that? I don't know what to say about that. He's still quality number 2 in my books. Next will be a Chris Olave, another quality number 2, man. This year, he's been playing like quality number 2. He has been a quality number 2. Not a high-end number 2, but he's still a quality number 2. Next up, we have Ahmed Zykas. Quality slot, man. Nothing ridiculous, but he's going to give you some catches. He'll give you some chances. He's going to go into quality slot. Next up, we have Devontae Parker. Right now, solid fourth option for the New England Patriots. I don't know if I've heard his name called in a while. My goodness, he fell off. Next up, we have George Pickens. High-end slot kind of guy. He's a high-end slot kind of guy. Michael Pittman is a high-end number 2 kind of guy. Always can give him praise. Getting unlucky because of the quarterback. But he's shown that even with the bad quarterback, he's still quite good. Next up, we have Quez Watkins. Solid fourth option. Quality slot. Rashad Bateman, high-end slot. He's been solid this year. Kind of similar to Devin Duvernay. He's been injured, though. Next up, we have Jalen Reagor. Undecided improvement because he's been absolutely trash. Next up, we have Hunter Renfrow. Definitely a high-end slot kind of guy. Can always get you some yardage. Always is consistent. High-end slot. Next up, we have Calvin Ridley. Gotta put him again in quality, too, because he was so good before he got that stupid year suspension because of betting on his own team. And I get it, but it really should not be that much, in my opinion. Next up, we have Robbie Anderson. Solid fourth option, man. Haven't even heard his name too much either. I guess, realistically, he's a quality slot, actually. Robert Woods. High-end slot, man. Can't give him quality, too, because of how he's been playing this year. I think Treylon Burks has been the better wide receiver this year. Still definitely a high-end slot kind of guy. Next up, we have Rondale Moore. Another high-end slot kind of guy. Can always trust the ball. Never not trust him. High-end slot kind of guy. Next up, we have Sterling Shepard. Oh, no. I hope you get better, man. I'm going to put you in quality slot. Because right now, because he's been injured. But please get better. I'm so sorry. Next up, we have Sky Moore. Has undecided unproven because he has not been playing. Next up, we have Darius Slayton. Quality slot again because he just came back from injury. Next up, we have T. Higgins. Okay, so this is how I'm going to have to do the other ones. High-end 2. For sure, high-end 2. Next up, we have Michael Thomas. Quality 2. High-end slot this year. Excuse me. Definitely high in slot this year. Next up, we have Tim Patrick. Quality slot, man. Again, another team that's been playing not the greatest team, but still give credit. Next up, we have Kadarius Toney. Quality slot, man. Another guy's quality slot. Next up, we have Tre'Quan Smith, fourth option. Even though he isn't, is he a fourth option? I guess he is a fourth option this year. He's a fourth option. Next up, we have T.Y. Hilton, undecided improvement because he hasn't been playing as much this year. But great career. Next up, we have Tyler Boyd, high-end slot kind of guy, really solid slot kind of guy. Next up, we have Tyquan Thornton. Never heard of this guy. Undecided improvement because I haven't heard of him. And, of course, get him up here. Just get him up. Actually, if I had to re-rank it, Jefferson, Diggs, then Hill, then Adams, then Cup, then Lamb, then Brown. That's how I put the order. Unless there's anyone else down here that I forgot about. Next up, we have Van Jefferson. Ooh. This one's actually kind of hard for me, in my opinion. Quality slot. Next up, we have Jalen Waddle. Honestly, borderline elite. He's been playing amazing this year. Cannot give him enough credit. Gotta go in borderline elite. Next up, we have Wan'Dale Robertson. He's been a high-end slot. Quality slot, even though he has been really good this year. Next up, we have Sammy Watkins. Solid fourth option. Haven't really heard his name much this year. And finally, we have Christian Watson, another quality slot kind of guy that's been doing really, really good recently. A ton of touchdowns. And that's where I'm going to end the video. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I do my best to post as often as I can. Yes, this was a massive tier list. But I hope you guys really like the tier list. It's shout out to this guy for making it. Must took it a lot of time. Again, I'm sorry if at the start of the video for just saying it was overrated or underrated. I totally blanked in my head. That's all my fault. I'll title the video best wide receivers, and then I'll just make a disclaimer that I'm sorry that I did this. That's my fault, but again, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Trying to get 18 more subscribers by the end of the year. I know we can hit it, guys. I know we can hit it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.